Hey guys, welcome back to this place, and if you are new, welcome here for the very first time. I am Carmen, and today we are watching season 2, episode 6 of For All Mankind. Oh, this is Loki. I almost forgot to introduce you. Anyway, last time on For All Mankind, we had a very concerning conversation, in my opinion, about what hostile intent and hostile action means. We also put military personnel on the moon and gave them weapons that are capable of being used on the moon. This is all in conjunction with the murky conversation about hostile intent and action. So, very much prepared for an interplanetary war not interplanetary. I don't know. Because the moon isn't a planet, it's a moon. So an interstellar? I'm not really sure what the word would be. But I'm prepared for a war to break out on the moon with the Soviet Union / Russia. They've called them it both, so I'm not really sure where we are at this point in history. Also, Tracy on the moon, not doing too great, but Gordo is going to go to the moon soon, so maybe they'll do better together. Maybe get back together. Maybe there will be a whole controversy there. I don't know, but I could see it happening because they have a pretty amicable divorce, and he definitely still has feelings for her. I cannot tell at all the extent of her feelings for this Sam Cleveland fella, so. And also, in the murky relationship, everything's murky. We have Pam and Ellen hooking up despite the fact that Pam has a girlfriend and is out, and Ellen is still in and has a husband. So, we're going to see how that plays out. My prediction, dramatically. Anyway, I think that's all that we really need to catch up on. So without further ado, let's get right into this episode and see what happens.
If I can pretend to be happy, so can they.
60 years of socialism will wipe the smile off anyone's face, comrade.
You're about to wipe the smile off her glass.
Здравствуйте. С приездом в Хьюстон.
Надеюсь, что это будет успешная поездка.
I'm sorry, I don't really...
She only learned the one bit. She tried. You know what? Y'all shouldn't judge her. She put in more effort than other people did.
This is going to be a great mission for our two countries and for the whole world.
Okay, so they're actually going together? I thought that we were gonna meet up there.
Cosmonauts should not be referred to as astronaut 3 and astronaut 4, as though they are afterthoughts. We would suggest cosmonaut 1 and cosmonaut 2.
Sure. Sorry. The terminology is purely for the sake of convenience, but I will make that adjustment.
We would also suggest Soyuz Apollo as the name of the mission. For the sake of convenience.
Ooh, sorry. Molly has opinions.
Let's move on to ship-to-ship
They want
communications.
the Russian aspect first, or Soviet? Honestly, I think cosmonaut sounds cooler.
I'll show you mine if you show me yours.
You first.
How about at the same time?
Just string this thing along till the Soviets take their ball and go home, or the president forgets he gave his approval for this crazy idea in the first place.
So they don't really want to do it.
This is great. Just great.
Margot, I, for one, am confident in your ability to make things not happen.
I feel like that was shade. Bradford. I don't know that we needed to shade Margot like that.
Ooh,
Watch your roll rates. You're overcompensating.
I got this. I got it.
I got the vehicle.
Damn it.
What the hell was that?
Are you drinking and driving again, Vernon?
That's funny. Tricky beast.
Tricky beast.
All right. Tracy, you take us in for the rest of this run. Charles, we'll have to find some more stick time for you later.
Roger that.
Roger.
At least Tracy's doing better.
How are we supposed to...
I heard you the first time.
Yeah, so why didn't you answer me the first time?
That is a design issue for the design team, which you are not on. If design has a question, they will ask it. I put you on ops because that's your skill set. Stay in your lane, Aleda. Please.
If she can help there, though, like, why not accept it? You know, maybe she has more than one skill set. Maybe our girl is full of skills.
Look, just tell them who you are. They'll love you.
Key?
Who am I?
Big question for anybody, especially at 17, 18.
And then we saw that report on TV. All those children from Vietnam that were brought over here in the hope of finding them a better life.
That's all we talked about, that whole car ride. We were so excited. It was the most that we had spoken to each other in weeks.
Yeah.
So I was your...
I knew she was
Band-Aid.
gonna say that. I knew she was gonna use the word Band-Aid.
No, you are not a Band-Aid, Kelly. Honey, you are our heart transplant.
Yeah.
Попросим гамбургеры.
Is there a problem? Is there something wrong with the food?
We would like hamburgers.
Hamburgers.
They want American food, I guess.
Here you go. Good to see you, Dan.
The hamburger and steak fries looks good.
If you had mixed nitrogen with your oxygen like Soviets, perhaps Apollo 1 astronauts would still be alive.
I don't know that you need to go there, buddy.
And maybe if your cosmonauts on Soyuz 11 had worn pressure suits during re-entry like Americans do, they'd still be alive too. Or maybe we could just say,
Yeah.
I hope shit doesn't happen when we are 200 kilometers above the planet.
So, what's the next toast?
Right? He's like, this is awkward.
I really love being with you, I do, but I don't know what's gonna happen here. And I'm not going to toss my...
Well, then why did you have sex with her?
Who says I have to stay at NASA?
You just got a promotion.
I don't
Oh,
care.
she's willing to leave?
I don't.
This is not the place.
I don't care anymore.
She's willing. I'm proud of her.
I love you.
Why don't you mind your own fucking business, ladies walking in the back?
I don't want Elise finding out about this because someone saw us holding hands in the park.
That's fair. You gonna tell Elise?
She deserves to know, even if you don't decide to get with Ellen. Oh.
You gonna tell Larry?
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess I am.
I have to tell my husband I'm leaving him for another woman.
I don't think he'll care.
This is a weird life.
Yes, it is.
I hope they get a happily ever after. God.
On center line and on glide slope. 8,000 feet, 307 knots, coming right down the middle skipper.
Is that right? Looks to me like we're about to feed the alligators. So,
Always testing out.
now tell me why I did that.
It's something about the navigation units.
Which IMU is the backup computer using to guide us down?
3 and 4 are off. It's got to be 1 or 2.
IMU 2, which showed us too far to the right. We can't trust it.
We changed our course to the right to compensate for the error.
And
Now you're good.
straight
Yep.
down the fucking middle.
Ed knows what he's doing. He's such a little show off, though. Ed's like,
This is a secret place for you.
What makes you say that?
It would seem unwise for us to meet at a place where we might be recognized. I don't see any of your colleagues.
It is a secret place for me.
are they gonna hook up?
But not because of the music.
Or is
No.
this strictly professional?
She was pretty cute in the pictures.
They put her in preferred classification. Spirited but balanced. Adaptable to new situations.
Sounds a lot like us. Astronauts, I mean. Cosmonauts.
The data from the dogfight informed the selection process for human beings.
See? That makes it all worthwhile. Her
So she did not make it.
Death, you mean? When we launched her into the orbit with no means of return.
Yes.
Poor dog didn't have any idea
did.
what was happening. I hate it. I hate it so much.
7 days in orbit. She was the first.
Yeah, she didn't give a shit.
see
She's
the
a
Earth
dog.
From outer space. The moon.
She would have rather been on Earth,
And then
getting
peacefully
pets
to sleep.
and treats.
We should be
I
so
don't think
lucky.
a dog gives a shit about.
All lies. The rocket did not separate as planned. Thermal control failed. The capsule overheated. She suffered and died a few hours later after only 3 orbits.
Wow.
It's even worse. It's even worse.
Nobody knows that.
You do now.
I mean, she wouldn't have cared.
But she was still the first. Her
Yeah,
name
and I'm
will be
sure
remembered when we are all moved
the
past.
dog cares.
Sacrifice for the motherland. It's what Pravda said. She only wanted to go home.
Think about all the other dogs who fell out because they were too spirited, too scared, too annoyed.
Yeah, they got to
Confused,
live.
Sledged.
Lucky
at
them.
confinement, held the shitty food.
What are you saying?
I'm saying, give her some credit, some agency. She went to outer space for the
Yeah,
people.
because she didn't
loved.
understand.
And for anybody who loved her back, including a young cosmonaut who held her in his arms.
She didn't understand
Only
what was gonna
402.
happen, though.
On that launch pad. That's how she died. Not for all of humanity. For the people.
Yeah, the people that she loved sacrificed her to a horrible death.
Scared little thing. In the end.
Doesn't sound like love to me.
To Laika.
To Laika.
At least people know what they're doing. You know what I mean? Like, they know what the risk is. She's just a little dog.
What are you doing here at this hour?
The universal docking system? I figured I needed some inspiration, so I thought, go to the source.
No.
Is that under your purview?
No, not really.
She's good. Keep her. Engineers who like to get their hands dirty are the best.
Thanks.
He's drunk.
I am not. Not much.
Oh, I missed. I'll pick it up later.
We need a shock absorber.
A ring. Right there.
3 pedals on both sides, simultaneously latching with identical actions.
Very clever. This will work for us.
Go later!
Soyuz frequencies are 1 to 1.75 and 130.167 megahertz.
296.8 and 259.7.
Now we're collaborating.
Turn into some scary little skeleton with a bad haircut. He did have a bad haircut. I hate to break it to you. I can remain.
Will he? I don't understand. I don't know how decomposition would work in space.
Permanent. Unchanging. Something that lasts.
Last time
Nothing lasts on Earth. It's always changing.
Okay.
Mr. Cleveland,
Okay.
we'll see you right
So
away.
we're,
Thank you.
of course, we're gonna meet him. That I was like, he does not exist. I wonder who it's gonna be. Like what he'll look like. I picture like a Tom Selleck. I don't know why. I mean, it's not gonna be Tom Selleck because he would be too old for this role at the time. But like now, I mean. But that's who I picture in my brain.
Hey, you got a library card?
I left it at home.
Well, you're gonna have to leave a positive desk here and check it.
Not who I pictured.
So I thought I'd come here and, tell you face to face my intentions. I'm going to the moon. And I'm gonna get my wife back.
Props to Gordo, honestly. Like, good for you, man. Yeah, he's dead serious.
You're serious?
I don't think Sam's worried.
I don't mean to stand on ceremony, but she's actually my wife now.
For the moment. I figured that I owed you the courtesy.
This
of
man
heads
could
up.
be completely insane. I don't know.
You
I
got
don't
some
trust
balls
him.
there, Gordo Stevens. I'll give you that. Well, listen, I guess I could reach over there and punch you right in the nose right now. Or maybe I'll let you go ahead and try. Because I don't think she's going anywhere, Gordo.
Okay.
I really don't.
Why? Because you
That
have a
is a fact.
$1,500 glass of wine?
She's made her choice. And when Tracy makes up her mind,
Sure, but
neither
if she
man nor
changes
beast can
it,
change it.
then
And if she picks you, nothing on earth I can do about it. But if she picks me, nothing up on that moon you can do about it.
okay, that was actually a more mature response than I was expecting. I like that he said she's not mine, she's not yours, she's hers. And she'll make up her own mind. Like, I still don't know how I feel about this man though. He gives me like could be a serial killer vibes. Not sure why. Probably just looking way too far into it, but
It's time. It's time? I didn't know that
she
there was
decides
a
she
time.
wants to come out.
What are you saying?
I'm saying that we should start living our real lives. Maybe think about
Excuse me.
getting a divorce.
A divorce?
She said we
you
should
walk in here and you
think
just
about,
announce that
yeah.
we're getting a divorce?
Larry, we're not really married.
What, because we don't sleep together?
Well, for one thing, yeah.
That's your definition of
part of it.
marriage.
No, Larry.
I love you.
But that's just a
Ellen.
friendship.
I do. And I thought that we were sharing a life together.
You're friends.
We have plans.
She wants
Now that's just over?
she wants
I
a
know,
real
but this wasn't meant to last forever. You know that.
Mars, the asteroid belt, the moons of Jupiter. The future is there for the taking. And you and I are the perfect people to seize it.
I'm alone, Larry.
Yeah.
Really alone. You have Peter, and before that there was John, and before that there was
David.
David, but I'm not you. I go
She
to sleep
deserves
alone every night, and I
this.
wake up alone every day. And it's not like I haven't tried looking over the years I have, but there's been no one since her. I love you, Larry. I do.
As
I love
friends.
the life we built here together is amazing. I don't want to lose you.
She's
but I love
in love
her
with her.
in a different way. Like my heart stopped for 10 years and then
You should
suddenly
want
started
that for
beating
her.
again.
if you really love her. You know?
Okay.
Really?
For my wife, anything.
Oh, thank you.
We don't have to do anything right away.
You mean you're not coming up before you go to the airport?
No. I'm gonna miss my flight. We'll
I wonder if he's not gay but bi and he's actually been in love with her this whole time, but he knew that it was impossible, so he couldn't say anything. Or again, entirely possible. Reading too much into it. Who the fuck is this shadowy figure in the back? Who the fuck was that? So a lot happened in this episode that I want to talk about. I'm just trying to figure out like where I should start. And I guess I'll start with Ellen and Larry and their whole situation, just because that's kind of where we ended a little bit, and that's what's fresh on my mind. One, I'm really actually quite proud of Ellen, because I didn't think that she would be willing to give up NASA and to really put herself out there and come out to be with Pam. And I don't know, I just feel very proud of her that she is willing to put herself and her happiness first. And I think that at the time, 10 years ago, when everything was going down, she needed NASA and she wanted NASA and she really wanted to go to space and fulfill this lifelong dream that she had, and that was the most important thing. And then I think that without like these past 10 years of living out that dream, that she's sort of realized that Pam means more to her, right? And like losing her and then living those 10 years without her and then finding her again, I think made Ellen come to that realization that, yeah, that, I don't know, that Pam is worth it for her. And I think that that's a really beautiful thing. I think that it doesn't, I'm proud of her, not because I think that you have to come out to be valid. I think that if her life with Larry made her happy and not coming out was safer for her and was what she wanted, then I would be happy for her if that made her happy. And I would be proud of her for, you know, protecting herself and choosing the life that she wanted. But I'm proud of her because I think that she does want to come out, and her not doing so was more out of fear. And yeah, so I think that her being able to now choose her happiness just makes me proud that she's doing that for herself, you know. I'm happy that Larry seems to be on board and seems to be supporting her. I do wonder, like I said at the end of the episode, if Larry is maybe bi or pan and he's been in love with her this whole time and he just knew that it was impossible because she is not into him in the same way, so he's been leaning into the other aspect of his sexuality. And I think that could be like maybe an interesting storyline, although it's not necessary. I mean, they don't have to go that way. Like, it could just be that he's gay and he loves her and he loves the life that they've built and he isn't ready to come out, which is totally fine and valid. And maybe he doesn't ever want to come out in the society that they live in because he feels it's safer for him not to do so. And again, like I said, I think that that's an equally valid choice. It's about what an individual person feels is best for them, you know? I also So I know in real life that I think a monkey was sent to space, but I don't know if there actually was a dog. So let me look that up. Okay, so it was, oh my god, no, I shouldn't have looked this up. She's so cute. No, that breaks my heart. Okay, so they really hurt my heart with that story about Laika, the dog, because the thing is, we don't deserve animals. Like, they're beautiful, incredible creatures that just love us, and it just really upsets me. I mean, the monkey in space upsets me. Maybe there was never a monkey. Maybe I'm making that up. Hold on, let me see. Okay, so there have been monkeys sent to space. At least many of them died. Anyway, it just makes me really sad to think of these animals, because animals are so beautiful and pure, and they don't understand what is being asked of them. And I just think it's really fucked up, because people, like, if you're a person and you choose to go into something dangerous knowing that death could be the result, like, whatever, you chose that. Intellectually, you have the ability to choose that, right? And, like, animals don't. Like, they don't have that ability, and I just think it's really fucked up, okay? Like, that's all. I don't want to cry anymore, but it's just really fucked up, and I hate it. I'm really interested in the story about Kelly, oh, sorry, Sam, and if she is gonna try to find her birth family, and, like, what that's gonna mean to her, and how Ed and Karen will take that if that does occur. I don't know. I just think it could be a really interesting storyline. I am not adopted, but I know people who have been adopted and who have gone on that journey, and meeting their birth family has been really important for them and has really helped them to sort of answer questions they had about who they are and where they came from. And so I think that if she does go on that process, it could be really empowering and beautiful for her. And it doesn't mean that she's saying that Ed and Karen aren't her parents. It doesn't mean she's saying that she doesn't love them. It just means that she wants to know who she is and where she comes from. And I think that that's incredibly valid. Like I said, I'm not adopted, so I know that for each person who is adopted, they feel differently about it. But I also think it's very valid to want to know where you came from and how that might shape who you are and the choices you make and all of that stuff. So, yeah. I like how they went about going, or I like how Margot and Sergei went about sort of going around the restrictions that were being placed on them by their prospective agencies, and how they were able to come together with Aleida, go Aleida, and find a solution that works for both sides, and how they both sort of, that way no one had to compromise, no one had to be active or passive, no one had to, like, you know, assert dominance in the docking. And that way he could give her their numbers and she could give him the frequencies, right? And then it's like a compromise is being made. So I really liked the way they did that. It is a bit worrying what he was saying about how he thinks that the end of the world, like the end of the world is coming, because, you know, 1 minute to midnight, the idea of, I say way too fucking much, I'm sorry, but the idea that, I guess, war is imminent, and it's a war that could, I was gonna say end all wars, but they also thought World War I was the war to end all world wars, right? And then we've had quite a few since then. So, but I think that that's the idea, right? Is that something is going to happen that's so bad that like humanity can't return from it. Maybe. My point. A little bit concerned that that is happening. And then also, like he said that they're doing these drills all the time in like the civilian cities, which hasn't happened in like 10 years, and that's concerning. And then we also arrive in Russia at the end, Star City, right? Star City, USSR, and there is a shadowy fucking figure just watching everybody way in the back. Like, who the fuck is that supposed to be? Like, I have suspicions. But I don't trust it. I don't trust it. I don't trust a shadowy figure hiding in the back. And also, the contrast of the receptions of the USSR cosmonauts in America versus the American astronauts in the USSR was just a lot different, right? One was in the daytime, fully in the light, fully transparent, fully like smiles, even if it was fake, like smiles and greeting of these people. The other, in the dead of night, shadowy fucking figure, they're getting patted down, like immediate mistrust and suspicion. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know how this mission is going to go. I still kind of think, like, I thought we're just going to meet and shake hands in space. And, like, that's what all this was about. Didn't realize we were going on a whole ass mission together where we're going to have to trust each other. Like, that's asking a lot more. But I think, the two cosmonauts that we've met so far. The one is very cynical. Kind of can understand, based off what Sergei said, though, why he would be cynical. Growing up, like, he, you know, and living in where he lives right now. But, I don't know. I don't know what it says about me, but when he was talking about that dog, I was kind of on the cynical train, you know? Like, I was agreeing with him versus Danielle. I think it's nice to paint something like that as a sacrifice, that Leica sacrificed herself so that they could understand more and then do better in the future. But Leica didn't know what was happening to sacrifice herself. You know, I think that that's just the sort of pretty PR packaging and bow and ribbon that people paint on situations like that to make it seem less horrific than it is. When in real life, or when, from my perspective, it's actually just that, right? Like, it's just a, like, nice, pretty packaging to put on something to say, like, oh, this person sacrificed themselves so that X, Y, and Z could happen, when really, like, they just died a kind of horrible death that was maybe preventable, had more time and research gone into things. You know, I don't know. Again, a little bit cynical, I guess. Interesting, though, because speaking of me saying it's like PR to wrap it in a bow and make it presentable and pretty, that's what the USSR did anyway, because he's like, oh, actually, she died a horrible death, got burnt to death in like 3 orbits. It was really shitty. And the PR story that was wrapped in a bow and presented to the public was, oh, she made it 7 rotations and then peacefully fell asleep and, like, you know, didn't even realize what was happening. So, you know, it's sort of like a what you're told pretty nice package wrapped in a bow. Reality, shitty, horrific, fiery death. I feel like that's kind of what PR is, though, right? It's presenting the truth or something close to the truth in the most cleaned up way possible, right? Like, I'm sure that NASA in the show, probably in real life too, but in the show has prettified, like, wrapped up in a bow shit that was more horrific than they said, so that people wouldn't know the full extent of the truth. You know, like, the government does it all the time. I'm not being cynical. You guys are like, you've been cynical this whole time. I'm not being cynical, though. It's just a fact that the government lies to us and, like, wraps things up in bows and presents us a truth that is easier to digest. Because I'm sure that if we knew even half, probably even like a quarter of the things that have happened and how bad they were, or how close to absolute disaster we were, then we would be horrified every single second of the day. Like, honestly, I don't necessarily even disagree with some of the things the government hides from us, because I think we know, like we learned during COVID, like, the mass populace cannot really be trusted with too much of the truth, because it causes mass panic, and just people as a whole do not respond well to things, right? Individual people respond rationally and normally to a situation. When it becomes a mass situation, and then there's like different things being said, and then people interpreting things different ways, and like all of that, like, it just turns into utter disaster. So again, I'm not even, like, I don't even think that it's horrific or bad that I'm sure that we've been lied to and presented with a prettier picture than the truth in some instances, because it's probably necessary. Now, it's probably not always necessary, and we should definitely always side-eye information and check the source that it's coming from and what biases that source may have. But anyway, I'm getting off topic. But all of this to say, I think it's interesting that we were presented with, like, I mean, we've kind of seen it over the course of the show, but we've been presented with, like, this is what we're gonna tell people, and then this is the truth of the matter. I mean, even Molly's done it, right? Like, this is the truth of the matter, how long she's been in radiation. This is what we're gonna tell people. Like, yeah, there's just lots of instances. Anyway, I'm gonna abandon that train of thought for a second, because I don't really think that there's anything else I have to say. I do want to talk about Sam Cleveland as well. We did meet him. He is not, in fact, fictional, like I have suspected, because where the fuck was he? He is not what I pictured him to be, but I don't know. I think he's probably a nice, normal guy. I liked that he gave Tracy agency. I liked that he was like, she's her own person, and I think we both know that regardless of what you do or what I do, she's gonna choose who she's gonna choose, and like, there's really nothing we can do about it. I like that he gave her that, and he, you know, told Gordo that, because I do think that sometimes Gordo maybe forgets that. But I did like that conversation with him and Gordo. I didn't like that he kept mentioning, like, how expensive the wine was, and how, oh, it was from Thomas Jefferson's thing, which, like, is that really the flex that you think it is? But yeah, he just, despite the fact that I liked what he said about Tracy, there's something off about him. And maybe I'm just placing that on him because I was already kind of predisposed to not like him, because we haven't ever seen him with Tracy. We haven't seen them interact. They seem to have, from what we've seen, a very distant marriage. But again, maybe we just haven't seen, maybe we're being presented with something that isn't fully true. Maybe that's her perspective. I don't know. But yeah, I just get the weird vibes from him, you know? Don't know why. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my rambling and commentary. Don't know that I added anything, probably detracted some things. I don't know. I just hope you guys enjoyed it. I enjoy watching this show. I enjoy sharing it with you guys. Yeah, I hope that you will come back next week for episode 7. And if you want to see episode 7 right now and you're watching this on YouTube, then it's already up on Patreon. So you can go watch it over there if you desire. While you're over there, if you decide to go, peruse, check things out, I also have all of my full-length reactions up over there as well. It is watch-along style, so you do have to have your own copy of For All Mankind, which is available on Apple TV. It's actually the first Apple TV show I'm watching, and it's making me want to watch all of the Apple TV because it's so fucking good. Anyway, I'm gonna go. I hope to see you next time for more For All Mankind. Until then, bye guys.